Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, old Mother Nature decided to turn up the thermostat just a little bit on us this past weekend and brought back the humidity as well, and that really affected the number of people that were going out and about. But guys that did go out honestly caught some fish if they were willing to put their entire day into looking for those fish. It seems like the walleyes are getting a little bit tougher, but again, if you're fishing those weed lines, and whether or not you're trolling plugs, or whether or not you're pulling spinners, or you're casting plugs into the weeds, which seems like that's been doing the best thing, guys are coming away with some nice walleyes. Now, the lakes that have been producing fish, again, as I've mentioned the past couple of weeks, continue to do so. Bitter seems to be doing pretty well now, as well as Wabae, Indian Springs are catching a few walleyes there. Also, down the southeastern part of the state, Dry Lake, Ponset, Thompson, 81 ponds, and are producing more walleyes than not. The other lakes that are producing a few include East Oakwood, Whitewood, Madison, Island, as well as Vermilion, and then also Twin Lakes, which is the trophy lake. Now, what have guys been doing to catch those walleyes? Like I said, a lot of them are fishing weed lines. A lot of them are pulling plugs right along the weed edge, or patrolling spinners with crawlers. And a lot of them, and we'll talk about this in Todd's Tackle Tips, are either throwing swim baits into the weeds or along the weed edge, or also shallow running plugs that have been working really well. Now, the good news is it seems like the perch bite is starting to show signs of life around the area. Lakes like Big Stone, also Ponset, Dry, Thompson, all were producing some nice perch this past week. And again, what have you guys been using to catch those perch? Basically, the pilkies have been working really well, and all the halies that you see behind me have been working well at the same time. What have they been using as far as bait is concerned? Small minnows, waxworms, and maggots have been working well, and we have all three of those at the store. Folks, in this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about some of the techniques people are using right now to catch those elusive walleyes, and a lot of them are hanging out in the weed beds. A lot of guys, again, getting into the deeper water, don't pass up the shallows. A lot of these bigger walleyes are hanging out in the weed beds and waiting for some bait fish to swim on by and attacking it at that point in time. And what guys have been using lately have been a lot of lures, a lot of shallow running crankbaits, such as the new Salmo Sting. A lot of times people have been asking for this for the past year. We got them in this year, and again, these things are really working well right now. Just casting them along the weed edge or into the weeds and coming out with some nice walleyes. Also, another thing that guys are using is the Rippin' Wraps by Rapala. This isn't a new plug. It's been around for a lot of years, but a lot of people think of it as ice fishing. They're, again, casting these along the weed edge or into the weeds and coming away with some really nice fish. Other crankbaits that they're using also include the Rapala Shad Dancer, the new size 4 has been working well, and then also new swim baits. Again, guys are using swim baits, making it weedless and throwing them into the weeds and coming away with, again, some really nice walleyes. If you're not into throwing crankbaits or trolling the crankbaits, something else that you can do is you can pull spinners, and anything with slow death has been working really well, such as the new Northland Butterfly rig, the slow death rig has been working really well. Also, the Lindy Little guys have been working really well. It's not slow death, but again, just that vibration produced by the head there really works well and to trigger that strike. So again, if you don't want to throw crankbaits, pull the spinners or slow death right along the weed edge, and you should come away with some really nice fish. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-minute fishing report, please send it to me. Send it to todd@dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. Well, folks, before we end this week's report, I want to bring you up to date on a couple of things. First off, if you're looking for a trolling motor, if you are on the market for a Minn Kota Altera or a Trova, make sure you stop on by here at the store. We're going to have an unbelievable price on each one of those units, prices that you're not going to find anyplace else. So if you're looking for an Altera or a Trova, make sure you stop on by or give us a call at 605-336-9132. Also, beginning this week, we're going to have a number of customer appreciation sales, and one of the first ones is going to be on rods. All our rods are 20% off. All the rods that remain in the store are going to be 20% off the retail price. So make sure you don't miss out on that great deal on rods. Also, folks, it's less than 90 days away. And what am I talking about? That's the 10th Annual Dakota Angler Ice Institute here in Sioux Falls on November 9th through the 11th. Mark your calendars because you're not going to want to miss it. And make sure you tell your family and friends, if they're into ice fishing, they want to be at this show. You're not going to see deals like this anyplace else. So again, the 10th Annual Dakota Angler Ice Institute here in Sioux Falls on November 9th through the 11th. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next time, and again, thanks for watching.